Welcome to the Broski Doodles podcast. It's your boy Kiko Flow, Kiko Cervantes, and today we got you with a really nice episode. We got Tavo, who's, doesn't come here often, but when he does, we do appreciate it. We got DJ BJ. He's a common one, but he is one of the most demanded, participants of this podcast, so we like to have him as much as we can. This weekend, he's not in paid gigs doing DJ work, so we're happy to have him as well. And let's get it started. I saw some news on sports websites, and I don't know, these days I don't know where I get my information. It just seems that it comes to me, but I don't remember if it was through an Instagram post, if it was on Facebook. Like, it just came to me. Like, I don't even know where the fuck things come from anymore. But there's some talk about this guy playing football where he stopped living for a few seconds or minutes, and then he came back to life. And there was some controversy about that because I think the game went on after. And they're bitching at some guy called Skip Bayless, which I've heard on a Drake song, but I never even knew what the guy even did. So what's happening here? Tavo, I don't know if you're much into sports, but maybe you know a little bit more of the situation that happened. And yeah, let's get on with it to see what opinions we can get from that.
There we go. All right, happy to be here, Kiko. Let's do this. So, for those that don't know and don't watch football, so the Buffalo Bills safety, Damar Hamlin, collapsed on the field and went into cardiac arrest. So, I say that everyone thinks that if you think about that play, if somebody collapsed on the field and goes into cardiac arrest, you think it was a big hit. The hit was clean. So it was just want to confirm, T. Higgins, he was the receiver at the time. He hit him on the chest, normal hit. DJ BJ's played football before. He can clarify.
Oh, yeah.
It's a clean hit, nothing bad. He didn't flip him over like back in the day where you just tombstone the quarterback. It was just a regular hit. And he fell to the ground. He died for 9 seconds. They had to bring him back. He died. And then he came back, and come to find out, it was not the hit he had cardiovascular
issues
within himself,
like a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, a pre-existing condition. And what happened, initially the NFL said that the game was going to continue. It took the players and the coaches to stop. They didn't want to keep playing until the NFL decided that at that point in time that they would then cancel the game. So for those of you that are wondering, this is the playoff season, so everyone's in the playoff hunt. Mm-hmm. So the league said that some of the factors coming to the decision include that no club would qualify for the postseason and no club would be eliminated based on the outcome of this game. So they had to neutralize the outcome of the game to affect others, just to make sure that it was fair. So it had a lot of factors going into it, because this is layered if we really want to get into it. So if you were on Twitter at the time, everyone got on the bandwagon of hating the NFL, they should have canceled this game immediately. It took them too long to make that decision. All right, so everyone got mad at them. But eventually they did cancel the game. So we have to debate, this is the first time this has happened. I'm going to Google if they've ever canceled a game based off of this reason. So it was unprecedented times. Just like in 2020, we didn't know what to do. So we had to set a precedent. So from here, is this the right call? Should we do this? If somebody were to happen at this level, do we cancel the game? And then what happens from there? So I'm going to give DJ BJ some time here. I'm going to Google to see if this ever happened before. See DJ BJ's thoughts.
So we're focused primarily not so much on this human life that could have possibly died. We're focused on whether or not the team can keep on playing in the finals or in the playoffs and in the future games because of this. Because this person did end up one is probably a valuable player. It does offset the team in some sort of way, in terms of assets. But realistically, you cancel this game, and now both of those teams have to agree that neither one of them are going to compete. and that's what I said before.
Because not canceling this game, the consequences of that is that you kind of fuck your hunt of going into farther. Like it wouldn't be a reschedule. It wouldn't be a rescheduled game.
Because the schedule is tight, right? Like you couldn't possibly, and even if you could, I mean, like even if they did, like you already with the team that's on the team that has the player that is now in cardiac arrest, or I mean, let's just say that he died, because let's say he died, like a person dies on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That one, it disrupts the morale of the team. Two, it disrupts like the whole structure of having this player there.
Yeah, but I mean the league and the other team can do nothing about that. Like,
yeah, I mean it's like
that's just no. But what I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to say is that if you at least cancel the game and let them play it again later, then that's fair to both teams. I think. But my other question here too with the NFL deciding,
what if it's a playoff game? Like what if you're in the playoffs and then this happens? Like what if it's the final? What if it's like the Super Bowl and this happens? Like where like how do you reschedule those games?
Yeah, I mean I can also see the side of the NFL, not because I think they're moral people. I'm pretty sure they're interested in the money part, and this is a fuck up for them. Now, the other thing is this. If the guy died for 9 seconds, then they bring him back to life. So, technically speaking, he's just like another injured player. Like, they get injured all the time in the field, and they keep playing, right?
So, do we just put him back in? That's it? Like,
no,
you're alive.
No, he's out.
Seconds, you're alive. You're good, bro. Get back in there.
It's also like I'm not too like I don't know the world of football too much, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it is known that it's a violent game where people get hurt like all the time. So yeah, I mean this one was a little farther because he went into the underworld where DJ BJ does his DJ sets, right? He went into the death mode and then he came back.
Nether regions.
And then he came back like, go, we continue.
Let me correct you. So he came back, but they took him to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So let me sure.
I mean that's what I assumed.
Right, like I mean he left. Yeah, he was off the field.
So he came back. They took him to the hospital. He was asleep I'm gonna call it asleep, in the hospital for a few days, and then he comes back just so everybody knows. Yeah.
Oh,
and then he comes back to life, and there's the first thing he asked the doctor, and he asked the doctor, did we win? And the doctor says, you won the game of life.
You won the game of life.
You won the game of life. So he's back. He's very happy with the Buffalo people are really supportive of their football team. So they got a lot of donations. They got a lot of everything going. So he's really happy with the support that he got from his people. So we're there. I can tell you now, we're moving to why people are not liking Skip Bayless. Or Bayless, apologize if I messed his name up. He put a tweet that said, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how?" is what he put. This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So I think that was his initial tweet. And then he got some backlash for it. He did another tweet that said, "Nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I pray for him and will continue to." So that's where he was. That's why people started.
Okay, so people just thought that his tweet actually was in support of continuing the game rather than supporting the player.
Right. In front of the player, yeah.
I mean, in defense of the people, it was kind of confusing what he wrote, I wasn't sure what the fuck he was going.
That's why text, you got to communicate clearly.
I mean, it was clear to me in the first tweet that what his intentions were.
No, I actually thought he was going against the other guy.
Not everyone passed high school, John.
Yeah, I barely passed.
Not everybody passed high school.
Well, what that motherfucker say about my irreverent?
Exactly. So you see, you have to know. So here's where I want to give an example for the audience to see. How would you feel? Like you don't have to answer. You just have to feel it. So in this situation, this is what happened. People have gotten hurt before. They just never So what is going to take canceling of the game? I was actually looking up when have they canceled games before? It's extremely rare for an NFL to cancel a game. One is weather. They have to postpone a game due to weather. The other one, I think they've only canceled like 9 games in like the NFL history.
And in the weather, it has to be completely horrible because I see like in the northern states they play with snow in the field.
Yeah, they'll play with snow,
which is pretty gangster.
Yeah,
it's like hurricane type stuff. And if the place doesn't have a dome, because if they have a dome, then you can keep going.
like the Hurricanes going outside, and they're just there fucking.
They're
just getting dome inside. They're just getting dome inside.
People, when there is a hurricane, you go to the football stadium. That's the safest place. So like,
right. So might as well just fucking play, right?
Let's just play. No.
So you write it out.
Yeah, because the New Orleans team, like the Saints team, that stadium is people go.
Yeah.
So they don't really cancel a game. So there was an incident with Dak Prescott where Dak Prescott broke his leg.
Like completely broken
for the Cowboys, right? So this happened. He broke his leg. Like it was. Don't look up that video. It's just it's gonna make you feel bad.
And he's a major player, major contributor of the team. He's a quarterback.
Yeah. He's the quarterback, the leading quarterback for the Cowboys, and they carted him off the field, and the game continued.
Okay. Did he play just so that I can know? Because that shit just fucking hit me in the field. Did he play again? Was he all right after that, or
he has now returned to the league? Don't know if he's as good, but he has returned to the league.
Or do they bring him out in a wheelchair at the beginning of the games when they sing the anthem?
Yeah, the same thing happened to another quarterback, Alex Smith. So like they break their legs, right? So broken leg, they cart him off. The same arguments you had about morale, how you feel, key player. The NFL said, we're going to continue this game.
You know, this is super interesting because for some reason I almost see it similar to the abortion debate where the defining line is like a very biased biology sort of division, right? And I'm sorry to make this even more
controversial.
Yeah, controversial than it needs to. But it's like with the broken leg, I mean, I'm assuming, right? If they didn't cancel that one and they canceled this one, the dividing line is, well, were you dead? I mean,
did you die?
Bring it back to the hangover too. It's but did you die?
Right.
Yeah,
and I can kind of agree with like, well, that is kind of like where we draw the line.
That is where they drew the line. If you think about it, like plenty of broken legs, plenty of broken hands, plenty of broken everything. They just cart him off, and it is what it is. It's like, oh, he died. Okay,
or maybe like not even just. I mean, even though that part was fucked, the fact that this person is injured to the point where we don't even know if he's gonna live.
Yeah.
Tao, could you do me a favor and look up the games that were canceled? Were they rescheduled or were they redone? Like, were they, or did they just forget about them and we're good?
I will look.
While you do that, I actually have an anecdote that has to do with this in another sport, which is Formula One. Mm-hmm. And I saw this from the documentary, the Schumacher documentary. I think I said it right for the Germans out there. Schumacher, one of the greatest F1 racers in the history of the sport. When he was starting in the sport and he was very young, one racer that was sort of soon to retire was Senna, Aitor Senna, who's a Brazilian runner that died while racing, right? And this Brazilian racer, he was really good and he was really risky. He would do a lot of risky shit. And in Formula One, to pass other cars, sometimes the wilder guy is the one that gets it, Mm-hmm. So there was this race, and in Formula One, it's kind of like in football where you race the whole year, you accumulate points, and then whoever has more points kind of wins. And then this last race was going to define who won like the tournament, if it was Ayrton Senna or if it was Michael Schumacher, who was like the upcoming guy. And in that race, they're going, hardcore. Schumacher is in the Ferrari, the red car, and they're going hard as fuck, aggressive. And in one turn, Ayrton Senna's brake stopped working, and he's like going really fast, and he can't turn, he can turn, but he cannot brake, and he hits a wall like straight. Right? Like straight, just boom. Mm. They take him out and they take him to the hospital. Right? Mm-hmm. The race is continued. and Michael Schumacher wins the race to win his first World Cup. Right?
Right.
A few hours later,
Grand Prix.
yeah, the Grand Prix. A few hours later, Ayrton Senna dies.
Oh,
So imagine that shit. And you kind of can't. I mean, you can stop it, but I don't know. I think it is also part of how much risk is already involved in the sport. And that's how you gauge it, right? Because I can understand if you're playing golf and somebody breaks a leg, it's like, hey guys, let's stop this thing. You know, let's go have some margaritas at the bar. You know, Bob, give Bob his high blood pressure medicine. Like, let's chill, right?
yeah, and that's
But in a F1 environment, like, death is part of it. So even though Schumacher feels horrible about that time and he cries about it because this guy, even though he was his rival, he was also like his idol, and it almost feels like fuck that your first Prix is where these guys died, you know. But so what I'm trying to say is that maybe, do you think that matters? Like, how dangerous a sport is already raises the bar on when you stop an activity. You know, like in football, it's already pretty dangerous as it is. So maybe you raise the bar on how. But I guess they drew the line now with this guy because they did cancel it, right?
They did cancel it.
In theory, like let's suppose that he did die and he died on the field. Let's say he died on the field, and you had to cancel the game. But then would you reschedule that game? Would that like team even continue playing for the rest of the season? You know, like if this guy actually, you know, he's done. He was a key player and he's necessary as part of the morale. You know, the whole team will be distraught for a long time. Like, you know how like in college here in the United States, if somebody in your class dies, they don't expect you to take the class anymore, and they just give you like a passing grade for that class.
They do.
Like if somebody dies, like if it's known, if it's public knowledge that somebody dies.
Oh, it's public knowledge.
Yeah. Like.
Even if it happens the second day of school, like the whole year, I got it.
If your roommate passes away, you get A's for the semester.
That's also like public knowledge.
Load your classes.
Yeah, like.
or is it more like the teachers feel too bad to give you like a bad grade? It's like, bro, his roommate died.
Know. It's one of those college myths. It's like if your roommate passes away, you get straight A's for the semester.
It's like the teachers talking to each other in the teachers' room. They're like, hey, bro, are you gonna fail him? He found his roommate hanging from the lamp one night
with his cock out. How are you gonna do this to this poor kid? He's already had enough.
These guys had enough.
All right, so I'll bring you back. So the question was, so it depends on where you are in the season. So they have postponed games or canceled them before. So if it's earlier in the season, they can do it because the bye week, there's a bye week somewhere in there, and they can just reschedule it for the bye week. If it's this late in the game, this is where it was like a little bit.
Yeah, like it's like 2 weeks away from
the. So they had to figure out what to do. So I'll give you another layer. Now this layer is definitely not as important, but it's something to think about because there's like gambling in Vegas on these games. There's also fantasy football that takes into account. All right. So how does that work out?
If you pick that guy, you're fucked.
Right. So you want to pick the safety, you want to pick the other players on the team. So and week 17 is most of the time championship week for money. So if you're betting on the games, if you're playing fantasy football, there's a lot of money on the line. So to consider. So ultimately, the NFL had to make. So if you think about this, right? So you're a leader, right? You're in charge of everything you got to consider. You have millions, like possibly billions of dollars on the line happening on this game, and you have to decide: am I going to keep this game? They said, "Oh, it took them too long." I'm like, y'all, it took them like maybe an hour to decide that, but they still had to consider billions of dollars. So if you think, but you're a CEO of a company, you're in charge of like, okay, I got to make the right call here. There's a lot of money on the line. So, and then eventually they decided to cancel the game because they said life was more important. But that wasn't an easy decision to make. Everyone's just like, they should have just canceled. I'm like, y'all don't make billions of dollars to just say cancel the game.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, understand. Like, okay, all right, what we gotta do? We're gonna mess up. Like, we have to lead, and then ultimately, I mean, they did make the right decision to cancel the game because they had to, but it was like, oh, what do we do if this never happened before?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be like, yo, fuck this company. Like, how could you be so, like, unhuman? But it's like, bro,
so heartless.
When it's business, like, that's how it is. And I'm sure, like, what happened, because you said at the beginning, they said, okay, yeah, let's keep playing. Then the players got, like, pissed off. And then they felt like, okay, no, we're probably going to get some, some slap
pushback
for this. Yeah, some pushback. So let's take the risks. Fuck it. We lose $1 million. That's it,
Yeah, because I think there's always a math person. If you think this, how there's always somebody in math. They probably were like calculating, okay, if we don't cancel, we keep this money, right? But if we don't cancel, we're gonna lose a lot more because of brand recognition and all these things.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
And they probably have a guy that measures that by the minute.
They have
he's like, actually, right now we've gone over the mountain peak where now it's more favorable to cancel the game because we're gonna lose more on the PR. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's how it went. They're like, at this point, it's better to cancel because we will look better, and then we could sell it. Oh yeah, we had to cancel. There's always somebody who's selling it. You don't make that much money to not be selling it. You're like, and then they come back, oh yeah, health is more important and this and that. They're selling it to the media.
The fact that they said it,
After we did our calculations and saw the possible loss, we consider that human life is more important than greed.
That's what happened. Like, that's exactly what they did. They're like, what's gonna make us more money? Keeping the game or selling the fact that we take care of life?
Let's try keeping the game. That didn't work. Fuck it.
Cancel. That's what happened. That's what they did. That's what they just like, it makes more money to cancel.
Do you think that's what the Hamlin guy said? The guy was in the like, oh, did we win the game? Like, no, that's what you're gonna say, like, to the PR people.
No, I don't think he did all that. I think he cared about the winning of that game because he knew it was important. I don't think. I mean, that just works out like a nice Cinderella story. Like, oh, he came back. Did we win? And you won that game of life. It's like, oh, yeah.
Sponsored by the NFL.
Yeah, sponsored by the NFL. Yeah, exactly. Because they make more money that way.
But in a way, like, for your coach, that's what your coach would want you to say when you wake up from that injury. Like, did we win? Like, that's this guy's committed,
He's committed, right?
Remember the Titans,
So there you go. So I think we found out, in order to cancel a game, the question is, but did he die?
Right. And it could be a few seconds.
Yeah. But no death. Oh, broken leg. Continue this game.
Yeah, broken leg. You're never gonna walk again. Get the fuck out of here.
Your arms could fall off. Like, they just tore it from the socket.
Boom.
You're still alive. You're good.
You're fine.
Concussion that will follow you later on in life. Get the fuck out of here. Tylenol.
Yeah. Because it was a basketball game. That same thing. And basketball's probably easier to redo. Somebody like was running and he hit like the board. He broke his leg. They didn't cancel that game.
So
yeah, I think like it's like if you're gonna be fine and live, they're like, yeah, we don't see a reason to cancel.
Yeah,
it's only when you're like, okay, this guy could die.
So two broken legs, and you're good to go. Like yeah, keep it going.
They don't care.
A random little bee comes in. You're deathly allergic to bees. It stings you. You go into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
We gotta cancel the game.
Cancel the game
because this guy's gonna die.
Mm-hmm. That's the line.
Now in boxing and in UFC, I don't think people have died in UFC. But when someone gets injured really bad, I don't think they stop shit.
No, they do. Don't you see the guy?
It'd be like a TKO. Yeah.
Yeah. They stop the fight. In and he's like, game.
Yeah. He stops the fight, but I mean, they don't stop the events.
Oh no, they don't stop the event because that fight is over.
because that's
Okay,
something
because
that's
the event is just that one.
Yeah.
that's accepted in that fight. You know,
Well, it's
that-
also because that's the game, right? Like
Right,
try
that's
to
the
kill
game,
each
like-
other.
And that person knocking out doesn't impact the next fighters because they're not a team. You fight solo.
Right. Okay. That's
Whereas
brutal.
like the other games, like they impact your teammates because that's
No,
that's
but
your
what I'm trying to
teammates.
say is like, just the fact that somebody like almost died, the rest could be like, hey guys, we're a little traumatized here. But no,
no,
you can't say that.
he could even die. Like he could actually die. And no, next event, let's keep it going.
UFC is ruthless.
Yeah.
This goes back to like the sport you play and the level of risk incurred within the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, like for example, golf, very low risk.
Very low. Somebody dies in golf.
The only
canceled for,
risk
like,
you have
months.
is getting caught with Scandinavian hookers. And even that's a risk that you can control if you're not really
I
dumb
mean, if you
about
weren't
it.
married, you can have as many Scandinavians as you want.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
I don't
Don't be
think it's frowned upon these days.
Yeah.
The world is very liberal and open.
So-
Yeah.
so-
Just you can't be married. That's the only thing.
I think that's
If
what
you weren't
Michael
married,
Jordan does. Michael Jordan just chills and fucks.
Probably.
so
Let's bring him onto the podcast and find out.
so golf is very low risk, right?
Of physical injury, I guess. Yeah.
Of death, of like of
death,
Yeah.
What about surfing?
Surfing is high risk.
It's higher.
Yeah, like in surfing, people drown and shit, and like others got like, hey, bro, the waves are out today. I gotta ride them. Like I can't stop not ride today because they're waiting.
So the risk is implied. So there's no need to stop.
Yeah.
the event.
When it's
Like,
extreme sports, it's like, bro, this is the bread and butter of the day. Like, we live and we die. It's part of life. They're very like, they got that
What-
poetic like view of life.
What
Like
about-
if you
what
like
about-
mountain climbing shit, yeah.
like mountain climbing, base jumping.
Yeah, I mean, we'll call the
skydiving.
ambulance and like the police, and then I gotta go up again because the sun is out.
What about extreme golfing?
What is extreme golfing?
I don't know, like golfing while you're like surfing or like base jumping or doing all those extreme sports.
Like,
No, we're just making
like
it-
extreme golfing will be like a bunch of Republicans playing golf with guns,
Oof. No, like
shooting at people's balls from like afar. Like, get the fuck out my lawn. No, I don't know.
no, yeah.
All right.
it's
Well,
shit.
for the listeners out there, let us know what you think of the game that got canceled. Where do you draw the line if you were the commissioner and you had to decide, okay, when do we stop this event? Do you think that it matters what sport it is, what type of risk is already involved in that activity as it is? And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the thing, comment, tell us which of the participants is the one you like most. Maybe Tavo. If it's Tavo, maybe Tavo can come more often if it feels appreciated by the crowd.
What would we say? Like, what would you have done in that case, Kiko?
I would
would you
do
have canceled
I
it?
would do like an
Or-
emperor, like the emperors, where they're like. No, I would stop the game. If somebody's like died, they're like, what? Like if they mention the fact like, oh, he died a little bit. I'm like, a little bit? Yeah, I would stopping this right now. But again, that's just coming from a mind of someone that doesn't even know what goes beneath there. Like Tavo said, there's like a whole money, logistics parts behind, so many layers, so many things that depend on that game, advertisement, marketing, betting, sports, like there's so much things behind it that it's not as easy as like, oh, I'm a human being, like let's stop the game. Like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things behind it and you got to take those things into account, So it's not an easy one. But yeah, I would say that, yeah, let's stop the game.
What about you, Tao?
Would I stop the game? I stopped the game. I saw the people were crying. Like the players were crying on the field. And if you don't stop the game, it's just not good for anyone. It'd be bad. It'd be bad like juju, bad everything.
I think it also has to do with the feeling, like you said, of the people there, like the environment, like what's the vibe? Because if somebody breaks a leg and they're like, oh, fuck, I can't continue to play. Guys, let's fuck these guys up. Come on, we got this. Like, that's different, right? But if somebody's completely unconscious and people are worried, how can you play if you're like actually worried about somebody's life? So I think you got to feel the vibe and how grave the situation is. And in this one, I think it merited, to be canceled. And I can also understand the side of the people that decide this, taking a little bit of time to kind of consider all the options, because, yeah, it is a costly thing.
Well, me personally, I wouldn't have stopped that shit.
Okay. Why?
Well, me being a football player, I know like the extent of injuries and stuff like that. I've been on the field. I've had people collapse on the field while I was playing, and I understand the emotion and the intensity that is involved in that field and at that time. Would I have stopped it to make sure that he was okay? Yes, I would have stopped it to make sure that he was okay. That they cart him out, they take him to the hospital, have regular updates. Hey guys, look, we that Hamlin just got to the hospital. He's doing well. He's recovering. Blah blah. Like announce that on the field so that people feel like hey, all right. So it's gonna get through it.
Yeah, but the announcers would have been
even if he
like,
dies.
It's like, hey guys, he's in the hospital. He's not responding. He's in a coma. He's in a coma.
No.
That's what happened.
No, you spin it. Like he's in the hospital.
You spin it.
We're doing everything. We're doing everything possible to make sure that he's okay. Our hearts and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Blah 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 blah.
In the meantime, let's
get this fucking shit going.
I mean, if I can be here real. In the remember the Titans final scene where they win. I think they win or lose maybe, but
they win.
The white guy that got in the accident, he's in the hospital. Like, let's go. They didn't stop the game because he almost died. I mean, but it wasn't mid-game. It wasn't mid-game, but
he got into an accident outside of the game. Like it had nothing to do with the game. So like if he would have gotten into an accident inside of the game and then got carted off and then he's watching it. That I don't know. So then, DJ, in your opinion, because this is a rough and violent game already, like these are, the repercussions of it, and you gotta keep playing. I would say so, I would lean more towards it sucks that he had a cardiac arrest.
Okay.
I want to make sure that he's alive, or that he's well, or that he's being taken care of to the extent of. All right, so he's not doing good. Let's take him to the hospital and check him out and do all the shit that needs to be done.
And as long as in the big screen they put like his BPM for the crowd to see, like you're fine with that.
Like do regular updates. Have like a reporter over there. Like send a reporter over there to hey, look, we're here reporting live from the hospital. Every time they have a little break, look, Hamlin check-in, Hamlin update. Like this guy is going through this. Oh, you know what? Like he's in there. The doctors are taking care of him. We're doing everything in our power to take care of him. Let's get this shit going.
Oh, fuck. All right, well, tell us what you guys think of that. I mean, in the Broski Doodles, we got different vibes, we got different ways of thinking, and at the end, we just get them all together and squeeze them in one box, and we present it to you. So that's what DJ BJ thinks, and we respect that. So yeah, subscribe to the thing, leave your comments below, and thank you for tuning in today. Peace.